may recall I've said that I was going to do some more training. Well, this is one of the training courses I'm heading to today. It's called the Art of Leadership. I know a couple of people at our school have already done it. The boss is very keen to have the executive of the school go through it. I'm at it for the next 3 days from 8 AM to 6 PM. I believe there's things that we need to do between this round and the next round, which is in late May. It's only at Reedy Hill, so it's close enough, because I'd hate to be driving a long way after a 6 o'clock finish. That said, I was not very good at getting myself organised enough this morning, running late. It's not good for the first day. I'm hoping the first part of the session is sign on, get yourself ready, grab a coffee, who knows. So I'm hoping that I can make up a bit of time, but traffic's slower than normal, and the GPS said that as well. Slower than usual traffic today, but I'm on the fastest route. I don't need a GPS to get there, but I checked it, which direction's going to be the fastest, because you can get there a few different ways. I haven't checked the weather, but it looks like it's going to be a nice day, and I'm going to be indoors all day. It's a little annoying that you missed 3 days in a row for the course to have the impact it needs to have. They set it up this way. Our school photos are tomorrow. I'd catch up day next week, so I'll just get my school photo next week. Thursday morning, in the last 3 days, the professional development at the Art of Leadership course, very full on and draining. Lots and lots of theory. The idea of the course, find out as much of the theory and the different theoretical ideas and create a toolbox out of them, as they were saying, of ones that would work for you or for different situations. And each day, like 8:30 to 6, definitely long days. Now I've got to go away, and we're working with a small group of the people. There was 24 of us, I think, and so we've got a small group of people that we will kind of like accountability people, supports, checking on how you're implementing things or what your project is. Or I think we get back together for another 3 days at the end of May. One of the presenters or the facilitators, Duncan, he's running or co-running another course, the Choice Theory Advanced Practicum that I'm doing, and because we missed our first day, or that got rescheduled, our second day, which is now our first day, is next Wednesday. But after 3 long days of just being in a room, I mean, it was broken up enough to sort of get you up and moving and doing activities and sharing and listening, and there was enough of the way they break the course up to keep you engaged and keep you moving and not letting you fall asleep, like some professional development that you can go to. Heading back to school today, they've organised for a person who looks at unpacking HSC data and using it to your best advantage. He's going to be sitting with all the head teachers today. I thought it was just for a short session, and it turns out it's for the whole day. So after 3 days of sitting down, I really feel like moving. This will be beneficial too. I'm sure I'll take on a lot of information. Ex-colleagues who moved to a different school, they've had this person at their school, and they said that it was an excellent TPL, well worth it. Fingers crossed it is. Friday is going to be my only day on class, and then we've got the exec conference Friday night and Saturday. I'm going to be completely burnt out. I think by the time I get to the exec conference, my brain's going to be full. Unfortunately, the team has been told they have to tear this deck up. Apparently it creates too much of a climbing risk for people getting up on the roof. The kids got the bad news a couple of weeks ago, and they've been slowly dismantling it, and they're going to probably use it to build picnic tables or something else around the school. See if we can find some plans for them. Last day of the week, exec conference tonight and tomorrow. Not really the last day of the week. HSC thing that we had yesterday. There was some good information in it, especially the way he was explaining how our HSC gets measured in 6 bands, band 6 being the highest. You kind of equate the fact that bands go 100 to 90, 90 to 80, 80 to 70, 70 to 60, and then it's 60 to 50, and then a band 1 is 50 and below. It doesn't really quite work out like that. Bands can stretch or move, the lines of the bands can move, dependent on that year's cohort. Every kid who sits the exam, you look at the minimum grade, the maximum grade, and the average grade, and they tend to skew slightly. So one year, a band 6 for a subject might actually be above 90, or it could be down in the mid 80s. So it's not fixed. It's something that can be in flux. One of the big misconceptions is that if you want to get a good ATAR, which is organised by universities, that you have to choose certain subjects. And that's not the case. Students need to pick subjects that they are interested in and that might be a lead into their chosen profession when they leave school. If you go telling a kid, you've got to choose chemistry because you'll get a good ATAR, and chemistry has nothing to do with the field of employment they want to go into, and then they aren't interested in chemistry and they bomb out at chemistry, they're not going to get a good grade for it. Whereas if a student is really interested in modern history, and modern history is going to be of benefit to their career choice, and they're highly engaged in it, they get a really great grade, they're going to be more likely to get a higher mark and a higher ATAR. Now we could use my own grades for this. Granted, that was back in the Stone Age when it was still called a TER, tertiary entrance rank, but I chose subjects that I had an interest in. English I had to do, maths I did because I figured maths would be helpful. But I did the lowest level of English, and I did the lowest, or second to lowest level of maths. I could do well in them and I wouldn't stress myself out. I did really well in both of those subjects and got band 6s. I had 2 unit art and 3 unit art because I was right into art. But I didn't like the theory as much, so the theory pulled me down. However, I got a band 5 in both of those. I had geography, and I did geography because I chose to do music, and my school had lost a music teacher, so they said we could only have one class, and if you hadn't already studied music at all, like if you weren't doing lessons on the weekends, etc., you can't do music. So I had to pick something else. I picked geography. I'm kind of interested in geography, various areas of it. I was interested enough in it to get a band 5 in that. My last subject was computer studies. Now I was interested in computer studies. I wasn't that great at, I guess, the programming and especially the recall. And I got a mid band 4. So because my marks ranged between a band 4 and a band 6, I got somewhere in between. I got a TER of 80, which is basically, when you think about it, the bottom end of a band 5, kind of. Well, you can't even say that. But anyway, I got an ATAR of 80, and I was fairly happy with that. Now, kids who want to get into things like medicine and law, because they're sought after courses at university, their ATARs are usually pretty high, and you need to get like 99 or 90, 98 point something. Now, way back when, teachers were in demand, so they had to lower the ATAR for people to get in, or lower the TER for people to get in. And so it was only 49 the year I was in high school. I think the previous year, because it was 49, loads of people applied. So they went, well, we need to drop this back a bit. We don't need so many people applying. And so the ATAR got lifted to 65. So anybody who got under a 65 couldn't get in. So that's the way the ATAR and the TR work. So depending on how popular a course is at university, they'll keep an ATAR high to restrict the numbers getting into it. If there's a high demand for a particular area, they'll lower the ATAR so that more people can get into it. But yeah, when you look at what I got as a TER, if I had have got band 6s in all my subjects, I would have had a high ATAR or a high TER. So trying to say that you have to do the top maths to get the same grade as the same band is not true. And it's to do with the rigor of the course. And one of the examples that the guy gave yesterday was a band 4, a high band 4 in chemistry is equivalent to a mid band 5 in another subject, and in some cases almost a band 6 in a subject. Now, saying that some subjects are less rigorous because lots of kids score low in them, it's more a case that a lot of more non-academic kids pick those subjects. Like automotive. Automotive's not really an easy subject, but the kids who pick it don't think they need to know much. Or some of them do. They don't want to do maths, they don't want to do science, so they choose auto. Whereas subjects like chemistry, physics, they're usually picked by kids who have a high academic leaning, and therefore they might do rather well at it. However, if a kid picks it because they think, I need to do a subject like that, but they're not really highly academically inclined, they're going to bomb that subject. The biggest takeaway from yesterday was nobody can guide the students into what they should pick other than their teachers. And a maths teacher can't tell a student whether they would be good doing art or not, whereas the art teacher could. So an art teacher can say, you're very good at art, you would do well at art, you should consider picking art. A maths teacher can say, you're very good at maths, you should consider doing advanced maths. One good example he gave was a student doing advanced maths would be more disadvantaged than the same student doing standard maths if they're not incredibly talented at maths, because they could struggle in advanced but do very well in standard. Now that was the case with me. I was good at maths, but I wasn't particularly into it. You know what I mean? And so I chose an easy maths course. And at the half yearly, I asked my teacher if I could try the 2-unit exam, which is like the general course exam. And he said, why? I said, I just want to see how it go in it. He goes, but you haven't done the topics. I said, well, I wanted to see how it go. And he gave me the exam and I did it in class. And I beat a vast majority of the kids who were doing 2-unit. And in some cases, my mark was better than some of the kids who were doing advanced. After that, I chose to change subjects. I went into the advanced maths. But then some of my other subjects started to fall away because I had to spend more time on my maths. So after the yearly exams, where I still went pretty well, I just said, I'd like to come back to the other maths. I'm spending too much time on this, my other subjects are suffering. And so they let me drop down. The day I came into my old class, we had a topic test. I blitzed the topic test. And one girl was really angry because when I left, she became the top of the class. But she was saying, like, to the teacher, how did he get first? He wasn't even here during the content. And I went, it wasn't hard. Went off on a bit of a tangent there. But that key takeaway of kids should study what they're interested in and where their strengths lie. And they will get an ATAR fitting for their efforts. If they pick subjects because they think they're going to get a good ATAR, because that's a good ATAR subject, and they don't really like the subject and they bomb the subject, they're not going to get a good ATAR. I really don't think I needed 4.5 hours to be told that. And after having done 3 days of sitting in a room, to go to a 4th day of sitting in a room, and this guy was incredibly dull in the way he presented. Dry and not dynamic. Not that I'm the most dynamic person in the classroom, but I struggled. The one good thing that he did was he analysed our HSC results from in depth for the last year and over the last however many years back that we can still get the data. So he's very much a data man. He was able to analyse the data. He also said he's a programmer, so he wrote a program to analyse the data for him and split it out and all this sort of thing. But the analysis sheets that he made up with the questions, they are questions if you want to actually look at the data, they're the sort of questions that you would ask. And there was like, you have the data and you have last year's exam and you can see where the kids answered questions well, where they may not have, and it can be an indication on the students, but it could also be an indication on you as a teacher as to, did I not cover that well? Do I need to spend more time on this? Long response questions are often the downfall for a lot of kids. Our kids generally do fairly well in the multiple choice. My kids did last year, and surprisingly to me, they were above the state average in the multiple choice. So the kids knew the stuff that we'd gone through. But when it came to the long form, the essay question, our kids do need a bit more help with that, and you can see that when you look at the data. And so he'd prepared some analysis sheets, and they had the sort of questions like, what are we doing well, what are we not doing well, and they're all questions that if you'd done this for a while, it would help. They were not stuff you didn't know. At the same time, they're very good prompts, and if you don't have those things written out first, then they may not be the questions you'd ask yourself as you're looking through the data. You might just be going through, oh, look at that good grade. Oh, I did that bit well. So I'm back on class today, and as foggy and overcast as it seems, it's meant to be quite warm with a humidity index of about 86%. And in the middle of the day, I'm going to be in the construction room, and I don't think that's going to be very comfortable. School week done, on my way to the exec conference. Different venue this time, they've put it at the Fairmont, right up in Lura, up in the mountains. So, something different. 2 classes today. Year 10 got some work done on their little boxes, cutting joints and that sort of thing. Some were still getting their safety test done. And year 12, when I was in the workshop, I saw the TV that had been put there last week because there was some smart TVs removed from some rooms because they were being updated, and I went, well, these ones aren't that old. Can we put them into the workshops? Because whenever they have something where whole school initiative and they want you to show a PowerPoint and they say, show the kids the PowerPoint, play the video. If you've got a class in a workshop, you can't do that. But we will be able to now with these smart TVs. Plug a laptop in and they're a touchscreen TV, I believe. And Year 12 construction put the one up in Wood 1, which is the main workshop I'm usually in. And we also got one for the other workshop, and I believe we got one for the trade school and the new senior timber room. So we're going to be able to put them up in there, and it'll make the rooms a lot more usable, meaning you don't have to keep going to other rooms and that sort of thing. Kids worked well today, had to take down a whiteboard first and then put the TV up in its place. And they got it done in the period. That was good. Only 4 were there, so good little team that worked well together. It was also good to be in that room doing that work because it was very hot and humid, and the workshop has air conditioning, whereas the construction workshop does not. So now, conference, I'm on my way there, and it goes tonight, and then we also have a session tomorrow as well. Another exec conference done. Some great team building exercises and revisiting our vision, because there's things to be updated. We had a great speaker this morning who's an ex-principal, ex-president of the Principals Association as well. We had him at one of our exec meetings pre-COVID, so quite a while ago. And today, completely different talk, but all about building your team for leadership, for leading the school, deciding on your why, and then a couple of presentations from some of the other staff about how they've implemented different things. One thing, the approach of the window of certainty, knowing where your team or your school is headed, what's your vision, what's your why. And it was part of the course that I did at the start of the week, and there was a book. I bought the book. Now I've got to read a book. It's only a thin book, so it shouldn't be too bad, but I really like that approach too. So having had part of it done today and being done by one of our newer members of the executive team, I have to say, even though I'm the longest standing member of the exec, I'm always learning from the new execs. They come with fresh ideas, fresh approaches. I could even say in some cases more enthusiasm, because I remember how I was when I was brand new, fresh and young, because you're coming in and you want to get your team all on the same page. And I guess I've had my team for almost 20 years. It's changed slightly over that time, but each person who comes in adds that little bit to the team and the new perspective. So we've always had those things happening, and it's gotten to the point now where even though it's my team, the people who come into my team bring those new fresh ideas, which I am always happy to take on. And so when I see some of these fresh new ideas from the younger exec, I love it. I'm learning from them. We really do have a fresh new exec, a lot of new head teachers, but they were people who were in our school that have stepped up and made it to the executive position. And so it's all these people who really have the best intentions for our school, our community, our staff, our kids. And that's what you want in a school like ours. It's not the easiest school to work in, but a lot of schools aren't easy. I think I say that a lot. It was a good, refreshing thing too to have the conference at a different venue. Of course, we seem to have been at the previous venue for a long time. I don't remember how long ago we started going there. Good venue, but it's time for a change, as they said today, or yesterday. Time for a change. Weather's been nice today on Sunday. I really didn't feel like doing much after the Friday night, Saturday conference. I actually came home yesterday and had a nap, like a big nap. And we watched a bit of telly, a bit of movies, went back to bed. Today, a little bit of stuff around the house. Managed to get the grass cut in the front yard and the upper area of the backyard cut. Still having issues with the mower because the blade got bent when it hit that bamboo, and so now if I go over anything that's sort of a bit solid, like dirt, a bit of a lump in the ground, it stops. And I've raised the body of the mower, but I really need to re-straighten that blade or buy another one. The front yard around the pond, that area, it's really only doable with the weed whacker still. It's too confined, too lumpy to be able to, and soft to be able to do with the mower. Upper area of the backyard, that's fine with the mower. Lower area, I didn't bother doing that because the ground was still a bit soft from all the heavy rain we've had. About 5:45 now, I think. Out for our little walk. Where are they? Here's one. Oh, where are you, Batman? There. And out on our flat area where we can walk comfortably. Do our little 1 kilometre round trip. That's good for now. And we'll hopefully work up to it as we gain a bit of strength and a bit of stamina. I'm talking about myself, not just Batman. Sam's fine. He's doing fine.